They're saying this new generation actually is a little harder than the generation they're following. They're more like their Generation X parents, where they've kind of come up in a little bit of a recession. They know what it is to work.
They've got to pick up the slack.
They understand that, and they also understand that that it's not given to them. They have to work for it, and they're not afraid to go out and learn, and they're not afraid to go out and get a job. We talked about it. Stephanie calls the generation she deals with now at Work Password is the rescue generation. You tell them to do something, and they don't know how to do it. They look at you and go, and it can be something as simple as go shut that door, and they're like, well, how do you want me to do it?
Exactly. They're questioning everything, and I run into that quite a bit in people I run into.
But they're saying this go ahead.
Just sheer not knowing how to do things.
Or not wanting to try. They're saying this new generation, though, it has grown up with the Generation X parents that, they say that generations emulate their parents, and the millennials are... And I'm on the tail end of them. How old are you, Mickey?
I'm 39.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Damn, you're old. I'm on the tail. I'm kind of on the cusp between a Generation X and a millennial, and they're saying that the millennials are more like their baby boomer parents, whereas this new generation Edge is more like the Generation X parents, where that generation that that's the punk rock generation and things like that.
Yeah,
and their kids are actually growing up to be that way. They're growing up. They want to be independent like the millennials. They want to have this sense of self-worth and this individuality, but they also understand what it's like to go and work for something. They're not handed everything.
Sometimes. Because when I was a kid, most people deal with bullies, and it's all social media now, and it's all that. If we had a problem with a bully come up in my face, I'm going to fight him.
Well, you can't do that now because
I know that,
everybody
but
hides behind a keyboard.
It's unfortunate because I've shut down a couple of bullies, and I've changed. I've literally this kid Carl that I used to. I'm sorry, his name was Paul. He was English, by the way.
Because that's a lot like Carl.
I'm just kidding. No, he used to F with me all the frickin' time. And one day he pushed me to a thing. He just kept pushing it. I dropped him.
Yeah.
And he changed. His whole demeanor has changed his whole life since then.
Oh, I'm sure.
He's totally.
While we're talking about this,
the hardest kid in the schoolyard now is the guy that gets the most Facebook likes each month.
I know, right?
Yeah.
well, Stacey, you come from, we talk about how Miggy is 39, Caleb's a little younger, I'm 41.
Here we go.
I'm from the Generation X. But you, being British and being 45, you're from Generation Gay. So what do you make of... Oh, wait, that wasn't very...
Well,
keep going, Ben.
Hold
on, keep going, Ben.
No, I was setting up Stacey on that. Well, what do you got? You're loading up something over here? Stacey, go ahead.
We had stone tablets with a young child.
No. Hold on. Stop. Start the music over. Stacey, you listen to the show enough to know that you got to start this out with when you hear the Hulk music. So go ahead and tell us your story.
I apologize. When I was growing up, it was stone tablets. There was no computers. There was no Facebook. There was no social media. And the glory of that was the stone tablets served as a prize. So when you came last, it was smashed liberally across your face.
And the pterodactyls would swoop out of the sky and pick up babies.
Guys, we have got to jump into a quick commercial break. We are definitely running late on this show. Lord Cheese, thank you, my friend, for joining us. It's always a pleasure to be.
Gentlemen.
Always
we
a
love
pleasure
you, brother.
to be enlightened.
See you, bud.
Hey, before we go to a quick commercial break, Sherry put on Wicked Tuna on a throwback Islanders jersey, like the Gorton's fisherman.
That's a good idea, actually.
Hell yeah.
That's a good idea. Guys, we're going to jump into a break here. When we get back, we've got 2 segments left. Who knew that Shakespeare smoked dupes?
Dubes.
Who knew? Okay. We've got that to get into. Brian teased at the beginning of the show about Tampa being ranked number 1, the number 1 city in the Southeast. I'm excited about this. A lot of different things to get into next segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this.
Comrade, are you a wealthy man like myself, afraid to commit to marriage, fearful you wind up in courtroom next to Heather Mills? You work hard all your life, why you should forfeit half of your rubles if it doesn't work out, huh? A glorious 5-year plan, mail order brides, you will not have to pay arm and leg if marriage crumbles like Soviet Republic! My name is Boris Kuznetsov. I am previous owner of professional KHL hockey team in greatest league in the world. During my time as owner of Dimitrov Dictators, I realized some of business principles found in sports could be applied to love life. In Russian KHL, if you invest in players who no longer perform, we let contract expire. We do not do the same in marriage. Why? A glorious 5-year plan, mail order brides, we arrange union between shrewd single businessmen with eager young women from Eastern Europe. Take the lovely Svetlana from Siberia. This mobile 19-year-old farm girl is ready to please even the most elderly of men for rich Western lifestyle. After 5 years, the contract expires with renewal option. If she keeps icing the puck, she's out of luck, you know what I mean, huh? She don't want to go back to Siberia. It's as cold as walrus nipple. Or how about for you, blonde-haired, blue-eyed Katerina, who is former Soviet gymnast who just got released from corrective labor camp after 10-year sentence for making Russia look like toothless babushka in the 2002 Summer Olympic Games. Imagine what this little tart will do to your balance beam for a taste of Western freedom, huh? At Glorious 5-year plan, we pride ourselves on gorgeous, collectible, eligible, and desperate women. So why not call me, Forrest, at 1-800-RED-WIFE for free consultation. Come, be part of the people's revolution against conventional matrimony. And remember, at Glorious 5-year plan, we might be Russian, but we don't believe in redistribution of wealth. Aye, okay?
Howdy, folks. Billy Boy's back and ready to get you mile high. Thanks for voting, all you green leaves, and opening the door for Amendment 64. I am excited to announce to you the grand opening of my top-shelf marijuana boutique and emporium, Commander and Leaf. At Commander and Leaf, we only procure from the choicest fields and botanical masters. From sour diesel to Maui Wowie and candies to space cakes, we have it all. All our confections are created right on site, so come seal the deal and enjoy some Billy Delights. And don't forget to check out my other products, Billy Bags and Bill Doughs, for all my discriminating constituents. I am Bill Clinton, and I approve of these party supplies and toys.
Hey, this is Meatwad, the real star of Aqua Teen Hunger Force. You are listening to the Cranial Emission Show, live on Spreaker.com, Friday from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Duh.
Welcome back to the Cranial Mission Show, guys. The penultimate segment of the show. Ben Charles, Miguel Hito, the C Squared, minus the great Reverend Joey T, who is on vacation, coming to you live from the Lion's Den here in the Ybormuda Triangle, known as Ybor City, historic Tampa, Florida. You want to be a part of the show, you want to call in, you can do so. The number here to dial, just like Lord Cheese did, is 813-438-6068. If you're a social media person, go to Facebook, facebook.com/The Cranial Emissions Network. Like the page there. Follow us on Twitter, @CranialE, and go to cranialmissions.com for that matter.
And for fuck's sake, go to iTunes. Give us a review. If you like us, give us a 5-star rating for F's sake.
Absolutely.
People said they've been to iTunes. You're fucking lying.
Yeah.
You're lying.
We're
to
calling
me.
you out.
I'm calling you
Yeah.
out. Tony
Yeah.
James, you said you did it. You lied to me.
Miguel Hito is calling you guys out.
I'm about to do a Tony James impression.
Do it. Do it.
Unbelievable.
No. Do it. Impersonate him calling people out on not going to iTunes.
Go to iTunes. Unbelievable. I love you, Tony. I'm just kidding.
That was too passive. Do it with more passion.
He's a nice
No,
guy.
do it more angry.
Angry. Unbelievable.
There you go. Thank you. Okay.
That is Tony James from Carnage Pod, from Midweek Wrestle Chat. Follow them on the Podcast Hut on Spreaker. Two amazing guys, one from Wales, one from England. Lovely gentlemen.
And there is a movement that Miguel Hito
is
involved in known as Pod Tsunami.
Hashtag Pod Tsunami in everything you do. I'm going to go on Twitter right now and do it just so you get the idea.
It's like a big wave.
There you go.
Thank you, Caleb.
You're welcome.
Now, we talk about social media. Last segment, we were talking about the advent of social media, how it's changed our society. Back in the day, to be a celebrity, it required a whole lot more than what it does nowadays. back then,
typically you had to die first.
Well,
to become a
typically back
celebrity.
then you actually had to do something that was remarkable.
Yeah.
And this entire segment, guys, is devoted to celebrities, whether it's for good reasons or bad, as well as a city status of fame, which we teased. Tampa's in that. That'll be one of our last stories. But Shakespeare, we brought up, I know last week we wanted to get into it, and then we just had so much going on, we never did get to touch on this. But Shakespeare reportedly was known for smoking the dubs. Go ahead. You have something, Kevin?
No, I was going to say, if you didn't listen to last week's show, it's a great show. Go back and check it out.
I see
Yeah,
some
there you go.
kids smoking some boobs right here. I think I'm going to open that and just check that out later. Anyways, look at these kids are milking them.
Brought to you by Chatterbait.com.
Chatterbait.com. We have yet to check that out.
Oh, well, you know what? We had gone 2 weeks. Actually, 1 week.
One
Yeah,
week.
we
Yeah,
only
2 weeks would be
And
a
for
bit
some-
ambitious.
For some reason, we always get all these
We're
dirty,
working on a
dirty
sponsorship,
whore,
so we need to keep mentioning it. We got to keep bringing it up.
Chatterbait.com. All right.
It's like Miggy was trying to say, though. It's no wonder that we continue to get followers from porn sites on Twitter.
Holy cow, look at all these dirty
When
things.
everybody
popping up
keeps
on our-
talking about Chatterbait on
Right,
the show.
right.
Anyway, let's get back to Shakespeare. Let's get back to something that's actually meaningful.
Sorry, these kids are smoking some titties here. I need to look at it. Anyways. Zoink Scoob! What did I say last week? Zoink Scoob looks like Shakespeare was a doobist. He was one of the Doobie Brothers.
When I found
he
out-
was the original Doobie Brother.
When I found out that Shakespeare smoked weed, it made me think.
Allegedly.
It made me think, Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou my keys?
No, right. No, it's
Because like back in the day, I'd get stoned and I'd look for my keys for like an hour, and they'd be in my hand.
no, it's
Well, I
No.
look for them.
No. This happened earlier when you were when Lord Chiefs was on the phone. So Mickey's looking at me. He's looking back over here. He's looking around. He can't find anything. He's asking Sherry where his phone is. He can't find anything. And I look over, and it's sitting right on his laptop, right on
all
the
right,
corner.
hold on a second. To my defense, my microphone's sitting right in my field of view to that. My phone is black. My mouse pad's black. My phone is my laptop's black.
And
No, I ain't no white round here.
and his Schwanz is Asian. But go ahead.
That's what it sounds like when I
where's
jerk
Ling
off.
Ling?
But let's go back to Shakespeare. Now,
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, prior to this revelation about him smoking weed, there was a revelation prior to that Shakespeare was a collaborative effort and that Shakespeare was a myth. It wasn't actually just him. It was a group of people. But let's get into this. Now we find out that apparently, if in fact it was one singular person, this guy was getting his groove on with the tweet.
Well, they found 4 different pipes unearthed from his garden dating back to the 17th century that had traces of cannabis in it, which I thought was pretty cool. And they noted that the weed and the compounds were strange in there, and they definitely found cannabis material in those pipes. So, there's been obviously multiple books that he was a stoner and this and that. So, yeah.
Well, I was going to say, is anybody surprised by that?
I'm not.
I mean, it's.
He talked all weird.
he did.
Look like through yonder window breaks and stuff.
When you were talking about that, wherefore art thou, Romeo? Yes, you forgot where he is because you're stoned. That's what's happening.
No, wherefore art thou my keys? Romeo.
Dude, wherefore art thou car?
And hey, wherefore out and then?
No, and then.
No, and then.
Wow.
If you think about it, it probably helped because this was, during the advent, the Shakespeare movement. It really helped with the advent of the Globe Theater, right? The Globe Theater was a huge part of that.
Right.
That was when you began to see the construction of all these Globe Theaters.
Yeah.
To go all historic on you guys. And that was back when women were not allowed to be actors. That was back when you had men
You're playing the women, yeah.
portraying the women. So maybe, hey, you know what? If I got to pretend that some other dude is a chick, smoking some weed's going to help with that, right?
Yeah, it'll make it easy. Sometimes it's got to make it easier if your man's a really woman. So, but to back in the day, the Globe Theater, the original Globe Theater, if I'm quite correct, had a working solar system, like they had the Earth with all the planets rotating around it, kind of thing. Didn't they have it in there? The model?
Mobile?
Yeah, no, you're right. But they actually had a functioning, like mechanized planet and other planets rotating around. It was kind of cool. I read the Shakespeare deal. Yeah, help me out here.
So, talking about social media, if Shakespeare was on Twitter today, how much do you think he would be worth on Twitter?
Oh, wow. Wow. He might be able to sell his account for big money.
I'm thinking, you know what? Shakespeare would not be very successful in this age.
Yeah, because he's only got 140 characters.
Yeah, right. That, and no one could understand him.
Wherefore art thou, Romy? Shit.
Because he was very